This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so let's talk about PEDs in boxing. A clean boxing sport, okay? As if that's ever going to happen. Because for me, as a boxing fan from the outside looking in, who has very limited to no knowledge when it comes to PEDs, I don't have time to be going through what's on the VADA list and what isn't, and what each substance may or may not do, okay? I don't have time for that. And I'm not one of these people where a fighter fails a test and it turns out that it's going to be a particular substance. I want to type that substance into Wikipedia, into Google, Wikipedia pops up, have a quick read of it for about 1.5 minutes, and then suddenly claim I'm an expert on it. And yeah, I see a lot of people doing that, and I spot them a mile off, okay? Hey, it is what it is. It's a wonderful, weird world of the internet that we live in. But when it comes to testing, okay, again, I'm talking about VADA, I'm talking about UKAD, DFS, i.e. drug-free sport, and whatever else. Because for me, as a boxing fan, on the outside looking in, as I said, I know very little to nothing about them. In fact, the only steroid that I do know something about is deflazacort, because my little boy takes it because of his DMD condition. Okay, it's 15 milligrams every morning currently. So that particular one I know about because I have hands-on experience with it. Anything else, I couldn't tell you one from the other. I really couldn't. You may as well be speaking Chinese to me, all right? And Eddie Hearn, he's saying how with VADA, it cost him 30 grand per camp to use VADA. Now, is he talking about for both fighters, or is he talking 30 grand each fighter? Regardless, whether it's 15 grand each or 30 grand each, it's a whole heap of money. And if I'm going to be using that, and if I'm the promoter, even if I'm not paying all of it and I'm contributing some towards it, however, and the fighter's contributing the rest to it, I would expect instant fucking results. For 30 grand? Are you kidding me? I expect my fighters to take a test today, find out later on tonight or tomorrow morning. Not wait a few weeks. Not for 30 grand. And quite honestly, I don't blame promoters for not using them. Currently. Unless somebody can tell me another reason as to why they should be using VADA and why they should be spending that kind of money and why it's okay to take that long to find out results. And even when a fighter fails a test, I mean, how long does that process take? It's ridiculous. You've got people like the WBC investigating for what? What do they know about it? They don't know anything about it. Then I'm seeing people like, say, for example, Victor Conte, right? He seems like a pretty cool guy. I've never spoken a day to him in my life. He pops up on my Twitter timeline, and I have invited him through Twitter, not through DMs, because I don't have access to his DMs, but I invited him on for a podcast, because I've got a lot of questions about certain things in sport when it comes to PEDs and things like that, okay? He hasn't responded to me, so I'm presuming either A, he doesn't want to, or B, he hasn't seen it. I don't know which one. It may well be the first one, right? I don't know, maybe he's nervous of me. He would have no reason to be. Victor, if you're listening, hit me up. Let's do a podcast, because I've got so many questions that it's ridiculous as a boxing fan that we don't know. Because if you ask Eddie Hearn one question, he'll tell you that, a specific answer. You ask Frank Warren the very same question, and you get a totally different answer. You ask it of Stephen Espinoza, or you ask it of Mauricio Suleiman, and everybody's telling us something different. Why is it that UKAD and VADA, for example, can test for the same substances, for example, but it's okay with one, but not okay with the other one, depending on when it was found in your system? How long before the fight? In competition, out of competition? I mean, how much is UKAD? Do we have to pay for UKAD? I say we. Do boxers have to pay for UKAD? How much is drug-free sport? How much is VADA really? Where Victor Conte, he says that it's actually 15 grand for a year. And within that 15 grand, you're guaranteed to be tested 6 to 10 times within that year. I mean, listen, I don't know. I mean, 15 grand, that's a lot of money. Some fighters don't even earn that in a year. Okay? Believe me, they don't. Even some TV fighters don't earn that much within a year. Even if they fight like 2 or 3 times. Especially if they only fight like 2 or 3 times. They don't earn that kind of money. So how can they afford to do VADA? There's too much of it. And I'm seeing like a lot of people having a go at Eddie Hearn. Maybe rightfully so, maybe not. Again, I wouldn't know because we have no goddamn answers to anything. Where, because he's using drug-free sport, and some of his fighters are failing some tests, whether it be through UKAD, whether it be through VADA, whether it be through DFS and whatever else. And for me, from the outside looking in, who's clueless when it comes to PEDs, I'll look at it and go, well, at least they're testing their fighters, right? If some of their fighters are failing tests, then it must mean that they're testing their fighters, which can only be a good thing, right? Because we're not hearing them pop up about most other promotional networks. Are these other promotional companies, are they testing their fighters as much as Matchroom or not as much? Is that the reason why? Or is it a case of the all dirty fighters want to join up with Matchroom? Which one is it? So it has to be uniformed. It has to be. If people want VADA to be the authoritative body, then why don't VADA dish out the punishments in? But why not? UKAD do, which I don't agree with, by the way. For me, I think it's a get-out clause for the British Boxing Board of Control because they have absolutely no backbone about them, quite honestly, especially Robert Smith. No backbone about them whatsoever, none. Absolutely none. They've got the same backbone as a jellyfish, all right? They do. Why is it that a fighter can be tested one day before the fight like Robert Helenius and not find out till 2 or 3 weeks later? Why is it that Zolana Tete, same situation, and then eventually, after he's already knocked out Cunningham, brutally, eventually he goes through the process and gets a 4-year ban? Why is it that Conor Benn doesn't get a ban at all? Why is it that some fighters get 2 years, some fighters get 6 months, some fighters get 4 years, some fighters get 8 years? I mean, there's no clarity to any of this. There's none. There's no specific process, and if there is, they certainly ain't fucking following it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. We're seeing statements from Eddie Hearn saying that Conor Benn is free to fight and he's cleared, he's innocent. So we go, oh, okay, cool. He's proved his innocence. That's great. Then we're seeing the British Boxing Board of Control saying, hold your horses. We're actually appealing this decision now. So who, I mean, I don't get it. It's very, very confusing. Very confusing. And with VADA as well. Is it a case of, is it true that VADA have some agreements with some promotional companies, i.e. the PBC, for example, where they have non-disclosure. So if for one of their fighters tests positive, well, nobody's going to find out about it because only Al Heyman and the PBC will find out the results. So therefore, it's never put out there publicly. Is that why that certain fighters, that they have quite a few fighters who sit on the sidelines for a year or two? Is it because they're under a secret suspension that we don't know about? Is that possible? I'm not accusing, by the way. I'm asking the question. Is that what's going on? Because it is quite bizarre that we're not really seeing a lot of fighters from other promotional companies fail tests. We're not. Once in a while, okay, but quite a lot are popping up on Matchroom, but yeah, Matchroom are the bad guys for some reason. Okay, so should Matchroom save themselves a bit of money and not enroll their fighters through VADA, not use drug-free sport, and just use UKAD like a lot of them do, except title fights, we have no choice? And again, why are the WBC calling it voluntary? Why is VADA called voluntary? It's not voluntary, it's compulsory. If you want to be ranked in the top 15 of the WBC or in the WBA, it's compulsory that you are enrolled in VADA, not voluntarily. Okay, it's voluntarily in the case of, well, you can choose not to, but we're not going to rank you. This is the problem. This is the point. A lot of it is just so convoluted, it's just ridiculous. Can somebody please give me some fucking answers? I want to know what the hell is going on in boxing. I want to know. And what's going to be done about it? All promoters need to be singing from the same hymn sheet. That's what they need to be doing. All testing agencies should be singing from the same hymn sheet. Not, well, this particular substance is okay because it's only, 3 weeks away from the fight, so therefore it's okay. When the other one goes, no, not at all. During camp, not at all. And the other one goes, forget camp, forget a week or two before fight night, not at all. You're not allowed it. Why is everybody saying something different? It all should be the same thing. Victor Conte, hit me up. Hit me up. I've got too many questions, my man. Too many questions. Are we being lied to by the promotional companies? Are we? Are the British Boxing Board of Control, are they just totally incompetent? Are VADA not fit for purpose? Are UKAD not fit for purpose? Is VADA brilliant and UKAD isn't? Is UKAD brilliant and VADA isn't, and drug-free sport isn't either, and whatever else? Why is it that some of them test for some things and others don't? I'm very, very confused. Very, very confused. I've got a lot of questions. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.